This is the audiobook sample for Crafting Great Stories, the perfect guide to learning the secrets of storytelling by Gerald Gallagher. This is my 50th audiobook, and it was released on August 9th, 2022. Here we are at the big 50th audiobook, and it's one that I'm proud to say is chock full of useful information for anyone who aspires to write a good story. Not only does this guide cover topics like writing characters and settings, but it also goes over how to get the book published, as well as the pros and cons of self-publishing versus finding a traditional publisher. On top of all of that, it's also relatively short, concise, and direct. I've found that this book serves as a starting point if you don't have any ideas yet, but will also help you refine a story that you've either finished or gotten a significant amount of done. Guides about writing can often be filled with non-pertinent suggestions to fill time, but I'm happy to say that this one is an exception. Each chapter has information that you will most likely find helpful. As a creative writing major myself, I paid close attention while I was reading it, and was very pleased with the amount of appropriate and knowledgeable content that any writer could use to enhance their work. I hope you enjoy this audiobook sample. Think about a story you have read. The story had a beginning, a middle, and an ending. It probably had characters and a setting. It most definitely had to have a plot for it to be a story in the first place. There was a build to the climax itself, and a resolution to whatever problem or foe the characters faced. These aspects are part of what make up a story. While every story should have these elements, a good story must go further in order to leave an impact on the reader. Keep in mind those stories that left an impact on you. They do not have to be limited to just novels. Think of compelling films or comic book plots. Even story-driven video games can have a plot that stays with you well after you put the controller down for the last time. What was it about each of those stories that kept your mind going back to them? What made you wish you could relive it again for the first time? These are the stories that really resonate with you, ones that live in your head for the rest of your life. Ask yourself now, what was it about them that really caught your interest? A well-written story should captivate the reader. It should have a strong cast of characters and a memorable plot. The ending should be so powerful and fulfilling that it leaves the reader wanting more. What is a story? A story, whether true or fictional, is the telling of an event. It is the transfer of information, either to enlighten or entertain. No matter what the genre of the story is, no matter if it really happened or if it was completely imagined, a story's number one purpose is just that, to either teach or to otherwise engage the reader as entertainment. A good story can do both. Furthermore, a story, whether it be in the form of a short story, a novel, a memoir, a movie, or something else, is the telling of a journey. Through the telling of this journey, you, as the writer, are able to convey what you want to inform the reader of. Again, this can be for the purpose of solely entertaining your reader, or it can be to convey a deeper meaning. We tell stories every day, mostly to ourselves. We tell ourselves stories to make a point, to imagine a possible future, to remind ourselves, to reprimand ourselves, to comfort ourselves. Inside each and every one of us is a complex system of storytelling that is active, rich in content, and, I believe, very necessary to the health and well-being of each of us. You can tell a story without writing down a word. You could simply be verbally telling a friend about how you lost a $20 bill down a sewage drain. It is still a story, maybe not an amazing one, or an overly compelling one, but it is still a story. The 4 kinds of narrative stories. A narrative can be thought of as a thread tying the rest of the story together in some kind of logical order. This is usually achieved with defined beginnings, middles, and ends. There are different kinds of narratives within stories. The 4 most common types of narratives are linear narrative, non-linear narrative, quest narrative, and viewpoint narrative. A linear narrative is a narrative that is laid out in the order in which events happen. This means that the story follows a straight, chronological order when it comes to how it is told. It follows an A, then B, then C kind of structure, where each letter is an event that has happened, or is happening, to the characters. For example, the structure of a linear narrative in a simple story might be something like, Bob woke up early in the morning. He decided it was a beautiful day, so he put on his running shoes. He went for a jog in the forest by his house. While jogging, he noticed something on the side of the path. It was a gold ring, only about as round as his pinky finger, probably lost by someone else who had gone jogging on the path. Bob decided to pocket the ring. He would try to find the owner later. In this example, we can see that the progression of the story is straightforward. In a way, there are certain beats to the story in a way. Bob does A, Bob does B, etc. On the other hand, a non-linear narrative is a plot that follows a different progression of events, jumping back and forth between the past, future, and present. While this is not the most popular type of narrative in novels and short stories, it has been harnessed to create popular books. A link to purchase Crafting Great Stories is in the description. This title was a pay-for-hour production, so I do not make money from any purchases. Thanks for listening.